Greeting, fellow Toastmaster and dear guest. Welcome to the 59th meeting of Chalk and Duster Toastmaster Club, a global online Toastmaster Club. Myself, Toastmaster Ravinder, being the Sergeant at Arms. It's my pleasure to be the first speaker today. So first start with the Toastmaster International mission. We provide a sportive and a positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills that further results in self-confidence and personal growth. So there are main 3 rules to follow during the meeting. As a Toastmasters, we don't talk on any contradictory topics. Second, please put yourself on mute if you are not speaking. And third, and the most important, please turn off your video if you are stepping out of the meeting. So now, with a huge round of applause, let's welcome the presiding officer of the day, Raj Bharat. Raj Bharat is a founder of Chalk and Duster Toastmaster Club. He is an assistant consultant with TCS since 2012. He believes always keep the promise. So, with the huge round of applause, welcome our founder, Raj Bharat. Over to you, Raj Bharat.
Thank you so much, Ravinder. Thank you so much for your warm, kind words. Greetings, everyone. I hope I am clearly audible and visible to you all. Great. Okay. Welcome to meeting number 58 of Chalk and Duster Toastmasters Club. In Toastmasters, contest has very important significance. We attend a lot of meetings. We do a lot of speech projects. We do a lot of evaluations. Keep participating. Keep pushing ourselves always. Why? Because we want to do better. We want to improve. And how we can show those skills, that how much improvement we have been. Contest is that platform which Toastmasters provides. It helps you to bring healthy competition among your fellow club members. It is not only how you have improved in yourself, also how other fellow members who have been your mentee, who have been your mentor, or anyone in the your Toastmasters journey, how they have improved. You observe everyone, implement in your speeches, and try to present that learnings in the form of speeches and in the form of evaluations during Toastmasters contest. As we have made the announcement for the club that Chalk and Duster Toastmasters Club is going to have a speech evaluation contest on 8th of October and international speech contest on 15th of October. And I'm very happy to see the number of participants. There are at least 10 plus participants who have nominated so far as contestant. I'm very happy to see you all. How it helps, how we can be better, how we can do best in those contests as contestants. For that, club has organized educational session for a speech evaluation and for international speech contest. This is not only for Chalk and Duster Toastmasters Club. This is for whole Toastmasters community, as Toastmaster contest season has begun and everyone is looking forward to have those learnings and participating as contestants. So we will have 2 educational sessions today. But before moving ahead, let me listen from some of the guests who had joined today's meeting. So any one of you who are joining Chalk and Duster Toastmasters Club today's meeting as guest, would you like to introduce yourself or would you like to say a few words? Anyone? Hi, Rodha.
Hello, my name is Rhoda Oma and I'm from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And this is not the first time I attended Chong and Duster meeting. Some time back, I did attend, so occasionally. It's only I didn't realize it's so late. It's 10 o'clock in KL or 10:30. It's quite late already. Anyway, I'm looking forward to attending this meeting once again, and I would like to learn whatever Chalk and Duster has to offer. It's good to share, actually. Over to you, Raj. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Rodha. Welcome to this club. Welcome to the club meeting for today. Anyone else who would like to share, who would like to introduce?
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Neeraj. Yes, kindly go ahead.
Yeah, hi Raj. This is Neeraj Rathod from Khargas Toastmasters Club. So I work as a product manager for Raychem RPG. I have been associated with Toastmasters for last year. It has been a couple of months. I could not attend any session due to my work life. So today I saw the meeting invite on the group and just I thought, let's give it a try and start it again. So
That's
nice.
great. That's great, Neeraj. That's very great. I hope you will have beautiful learnings which you will implement in your speeches and evaluations from today's session.
Yeah, sure, Raj. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you. And welcome to the club meeting. Sakuntala, yeah, kindly go ahead.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sakuntala. I'm from Sri Lanka. I'm a Toastmaster for 4 years now. And sometimes I join the meeting. I saw there is this educational sessions. I want to improve myself. So I thought of joining. Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you so much, Sakuntala. Thank you so much. So we will listen more from guests at later part of this meeting. And we do not waste much time, and let's invite the very first education person who is going to have present to us educational session of a speech evaluation. Let me introduce about him. First of all, he is a member of Chalk and Duster Toastmasters Club. He is charter member of Chalk and Duster Toastmasters Club. He is club mentor of Chalk and Duster Toastmasters Club. And apart from this, he is a speaker, facilitator, author, mindfulness and gratefulness expert. He is coordinator and facilitator at Toastmasters Youth Leadership Program. She has been area director and division director in District 99. And he is distinguished Toastmaster since 6+ years. So with huge round of applause, let's welcome very first facilitator who will help us to understand, guide, evaluate to help the speaker. Evaluate to help distinguished Toastmaster Von Eric.
Thank you very much, Raj. Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. Okay, first, can you please make me a sharer? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. Share. It's nice to share. Sharing is caring, and I'm here to evaluate to help. There you go. Can you evaluate to help? How to win Toastmaster evaluation contest. First, I would like to say thank you to Raj for asking me to become the first facilitator today in preparation for our upcoming club contest. To be honest, I was surprised. This is the first club I saw that there are 10 or more participants. You believe in that? 10 or 11 participants. Wow, that is a big number compared to area, division, district, right? And this is just a club contest. That's where you can see the enthusiasm, the dedication, and passion of the members of this club. That's why I'm here. I'll wait to help, to understand more, and most likely share a value in learning in my experience in evaluation. one of my experience in evaluation. Last year or early this year, when we are about to charter, I was lucky and fortunate to be the first evaluation club champion. I was not able to, we were not chartered then. That kind of competition is just for the club and no plan of going up to the area, division, or district. It's for the club. It's a demo meeting because we are still chartering and we are attracting members. But it's an honor to be the evaluation club champion. But this time, our evaluation contest, whoever the winner will move to area contest. So let's rock and roll. How to win Toastmaster evaluation contest. Okay. Okay. I would like to say thank you, Sugat, for making this very beautiful flyer. So I am with my fellow DTM, Avinash. Later on, he will guide you, help you how to do international speech contest. For now, focus first on the speech evaluation contest. Hey, evaluation. What is evaluation? Evaluation is actually one element of public speaking. The others are the speaker, the message, the audience, of course, the evaluation, the channel, the situation, and the interference. But evaluation is the combination, not only one or two, but more than that. As an evaluation speaker, you are already the speaker. Next, you also have the message in your evaluation. And what's your message? Take into consideration your message is to help the speaker to improve. Of course, aside from winning the contest, your main objective is to help. Okay, so keep that in mind. Of course, you have your audience. Later on, I'm going to tackle what's the connection of audience in your evaluation channel. Of course, we all know that the channel is the platform you're using. You may be in Zoom, in Google Meet. In our case, we are in Zoom online. Situation. This will affect your evaluation later on. Situation like noisy background. That is also connected to the interference. Probably you have a problem on your internet. So again, my point here, evaluation is one of the 7 elements of public speaking. There we go. To be able to prepare yourself in the contest, I'm going to give you 6 tips. This is before the contest. Okay, tip number 1, create a positive introduction. Okay, so you have to create that positive introduction. What are those ways to create a positive introduction? Maybe you can use quote, or probably a beautiful statement, a humor. Okay, humor is the best way to catch the attention of your audience. Okay, but whatever style you're going to do, when you create a positive introduction, just like in any other speech contest, a speech evaluation must have an introduction. Remember that. You have your introduction. You have your body or your message. And lastly, you have your conclusion. So evaluation contest as a speaker, it's also the same as in table topics, international speech contest, humorous speech contest. Okay. So remember the 3 important parts of a speech. And also, during the introduction, start off by thanking or saying gratitude to the speaker. In this case, we call it the test speaker. Okay. Saying positive, personal, relevant. Also, you have to empathize with you since like example, I have to empathize with you because I have also kids. So you have to relate your feeling while saying thank you to the test speaker. I'll give you an example.
Hello,
Madhu,
sir.
your speech is
Yes,
such
sir.
a timely topic. I'm empathize with
Okay.
you.
Okay. So, मैंने भैया एक
See,
बात
that's an example. Again, it's up to your unique style. The tip number 1, create a positive introduction. You're so positive energy. Number 2, tip number 2, focus on content and delivery in the body of your evaluation. That is your main focus. The body, your evaluation, you have your content and delivery. Again, your delivery is unique as to each other speaker. Okay. Content. Okay. As you transition into the body, provide your audience with a preview of how you are going to do your evaluation. In my evaluation, I always have 2, the structure and the delivery. Okay, so you have your structure. 2 weeks ago, I incorporated one of my favorite structure, the 3-2-1 method. But sometimes in a contest, that is too dangerous when you do that 3-2-1 method. The 3-2-1 method is something like three things that you think the speaker did well, two things that you want him or her to improve, and then the one, your overall concept or the summation of your evaluation to the speaker. So it's up to your style. I use 3-2-1. Sometimes I use 2 things that I like, 2 things that he or she needs to improve, and then transition to conclusion. Okay. Another thing here is always suggest a specific example. That's important. So put that in your content and delivery. Okay. That's tip number 2. Focus on content and delivery in the body of your evaluation. Let's move on to tip number 3. Know where the test speaker sit. What is Bond talking about? Where the test speaker sit? Well, this is important. Okay, in physical contests, this is important. You know where the test speaker will going to sit after he or she deliver his or her speech. But in online contests, and by the way, we are doing online contests, it's easier, very easy. You just have to have your eye to that camera, and that way you will have your eye contact. So again, for the benefit of this session, I incorporated, you know where the test speaker, so that in the future, when you're going to compete again in evaluation contest, you have to remember where he sit or she sit. Why? I'll explain to you. When you give evaluation, look at the person. That is in a physical, okay? When you start and when you share your compliments, then, or when you give your suggestion, you have to look to overall. Okay, so this is in physical. When you want to give your evaluation, look to the speaker, and then when you give your overall suggestion, look to the whole audience. Remember, audience is one of the elements of public speaking. Okay, that is tip number 3. Now, when you're in online, it's very easy. You just have to make it sure that your eye level is on the camera. I'll give you an example too. You don't want to be like this. Okay? Or you're too high or too low. You also don't want to be like that. So make sure your camera is proportioned. Okay? So that is, okay? So just like eye level. Next. That is tip number 3. Tip number 4. Okay. This is the most important. Have a conclusion with a call to action, a callback, or summation. Okay, what does it mean by that? When you transition into your conclusion, call back the positive detail you used during the introduction. That is what we call by callback. What you use in your introduction, you can use it in your conclusion. You have a strong opening, and you use that strong opening to have a strong conclusion. That is callback. Okay? Call to action. What is the call to action? Probably encourage the speaker to keep on speaking. One example is, I look forward to seeing you in the next contest. Or probably, I look forward to see you doing another speech presentation. So that is call to action. Summation. Okay? You summarize. Step number 4. Have a conclusion with the action, call to action, callback. Now, before I'm going to show you some other slide, I want you to take into consideration this one. Mind the time. Okay? What is meant by mind the time? Many of your competitors will be disqualified by going over 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Same as you. When you go over time, you will be disqualified. Even if you are the best evaluator in that contest, if you go over the time, you will automatically disqualify. They will not stop you when the red light on. You have 30 seconds, by the way, like grace period. They will not stop you. But the moment that you hit 3 minutes and 30 seconds, it's the end of the road for you. So mind the time. Okay? This is important. Now, before we go to tip number 6, I would like to show you this evaluation contest judge guide and ballot. Okay, so you can download this, visit Toastmasters website, and you will see the updated for this year judge ballot. But I want you to familiarize yourself on the judging items. So there's 4 here: analytical quality, recommendation, technique, and summation. So if you will notice, you have your own style. That is your technique. And if you notice too, I always mention the word summation. That is in our tip number 4, right? Remember, have a conclusion with the callback summation. That is the evaluation judge guide and ballot. For those members, this is your first time to see this ballot, feel free to reach to me and I can explain it further later. Next one, I'm going to show you this one, the judging criteria. Okay, now let's analytical quality, the recommendation, technique, and then the summation. So this is the second page of the judging ballot. So this is where the judge will going to use. By the way, speaking of the judge, you don't know who they are. They are anonymous. So the chief judge and the organizer or the chairperson will make it sure that contestant don't know who are the judges. Okay. So they are anonymous. Only the chief judge, you know who will be the chief judge. By the way, I will be your chief judge in our upcoming contest. And I'm not going to reveal who are the judges. Okay. Next. There you go. Tick number 6. Number 6. Check and study the judge guide and ballot. After this session, after this meeting, go to Toastmasters website, download that, just click or search judge guide and ballot and follow that. Understand it very well. Okay, so that is my tip number 6. So tip number 1 to 6, you are preparing yourself almost before the contest. Now, I have another strategy or technique that I would like to share during the contest. Okay, I would like you to remember the acronym TAPE. What is TAPE? T-A-P-E. Let's start for the strategy and techniques in the contest. Time. Remember, that is our tip number 5. Mind the time. Okay? So never allow yourself to be disqualified. Okay? I have another tip for you. Maybe download in the Toastmasters website the speech contest rule book to be able to understand very well the evaluation contest concept. Okay, so always remember the time. So that is our letter T in the strategy. So the strategy, so that you will not go over time, focus on your introduction, very short one, the body, and the conclusion. Don't talk too much on the introduction, like beautiful words. Example, Ravinder, you are such a good speaker. Yeah. You have to make it sure that your compliment to the speaker is very short. Otherwise, you will be running out of time. Okay? Go directly to the point. You only have 2 to 3 minutes. You don't have all the time in the world in this contest. I've seen a lot of contestants who are disqualified during my Toastmasters journey. Last year, I won the club contest in my club in District 99 because one of my opponents, whom I think is better than me, got overtime. So I became champion. And make that as your advantage. Okay? Never, never, never go overtime. I've seen a lot. Even in the World Championship in Public Speaking, that was, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, one finalist go overtime. He's from Australia. See, it will cost your preparation, your everything. That right? Next one in our strategy, analyze deeper. You have to go and dig deeper. I'm going to give an example about how analyze deeper. Okay, this one. Raj, that was a great speech. I like your topic. Now, why analyze deeper? This is the comparison. Raj, your speech is very timely in the situation we have right now. Your speech is directly related to the situation of pandemic. So you have to go deeper as much as possible, and that will make you a unique to other contestants. If possible, don't just give a very simple analysis. Now, if you are going to review the judge ballot, it says there, analytical analysis. analyze deeper. That's better. That is our strategy number 2 in the tape. TA. Okay. Next one. What will be the next one? Performance. I'm going to share you the biggest mistake of evaluation contestant here. You have to remember, evaluation speech contest is also like a speech international contest. It's a performance. What does it mean by that? I'll give you an example. Madhu, your eye contact is great. I like your body language. So where's my focus right now? Only with Madhu, right? I'm just focusing with Madhu. That's the biggest mistake of everyone. When we say performance, when you do your evaluation, take into consideration that you should include the whole audience. Remember, audience is one element of public speaking. So you should not be focusing your attention to only one. You should be focusing your attention to everyone. This is the comparison. Ladies and gentlemen, Madhu's performance today is great. His eye contact is very evident. When I saw him, his eyes is sad when he mentioned this sad feeling about his family. See, there's a difference, right? You just mentioned, Madhu, your eye contact is great, rather than, ladies and gentlemen, if you notice Madhu's eye contact when he's sad, you see the difference? That is what we meant by performance. Hey, what will be our next one on our strategy? The last one, example. Give example. There you go. Okay. When you give a recommendation, make sure you have an example. So example, Pradeep, I notice you're not using your hand gesture. Your hand is just like this. Okay, so you're giving example. You're not just saying it. You are showing it. Pradeep, probably you might challenge yourself to have a great eye contact by looking in the camera. See? So you're showing it. You are not just saying it. So give example. So that is our 4 techniques or strategy remembering the tape. T, A, P, E. Now, with the tip that I gave you, the first one, 6, that is when you're going to prepare yourself. And lastly, I would like to inform everyone, just in case this is your first time to do evaluation contest or a contestant, you will going to evaluate the test speaker. Let's say you're the test evaluator number 1. All other evaluator will be in the breakout room. So they will not going to listen what you're saying. Only the participants, the ballot counters, the Toastmaster, the judges, chief judge will going to listen to you. And then after the evaluation contestant number 1, they will call the evaluation contestant number 2, and so on until to the last person. Okay, so everyone will be in the breakout room. So it doesn't matter if you are the evaluator number 1 or last. They said it's an advantage to be the last speaker. I don't believe in that. They said it's a disadvantage if you are the first speaker. I also don't believe in that. Your strategy, your analytical analysis, your recommendation matters most rather than the number or which number you're going to present. Okay? Doesn't matter if you're last or first. Again, I would like to say congratulations for stepping up in our club contest. I saw there's a 10 or 11 contestant, and I'm impressed. If you have any question, feel free to reach me out. I have my email here or in the WhatsApp. I'll prepare Messenger if possible. Reach out to me if you have any question. But now I'm going to allow probably 1 to 3 questions. If you have any question, just in case you did not understand something or you want to clarify something. I allow 1 to 3 questions, if there's any.
Yes.
But again, yes, go ahead.
Yes, Vaughn, thank you so much. We have questions, and it is from Toastmaster Imran. Yes, Imran, kindly ask your question.
So my question is for dear Bon. So you mentioned, you give us 6 tips. So in the number of three, you mentioned that focus on you test speaker, like eye contact, see on camera, and at the end, when it comes to the 6th tip, when you describe the performance, then you share that you have to focus on the whole audience. So what is the difference when I have to focus on only the speaker and when I have to focus on the whole audience?
Great catch. Okay. On the tip number 3, I mentioned that if it is in physical, it a lot work. But in online, your only focus is on the camera. Same with that strategy on the performance, right? The greatest comparison here in the performance is here. You have to mention the name. Why, if it is online, okay? Let's say Imran. You have to, and everyone. Okay, because it's a performance, you should include everyone. Okay, so there's a keyword here. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Imran's speech is beautiful. Okay, rather than Imran, your speech is beautiful. From the beginning up to the end, if you're just only like talking to Imran, then you're not including your audience, and that will affect your performance. I hope that clears the air. But again, when you are in physical, it will take a lot of work for you. Okay, because your eye contact should be everyone. But in online contest, it's very easy. The technique is just focus your eyes on the camera. Okay, I'll give you a technique so that you can have your focus on your camera and you will not forget it. Write in a piece of paper, and then always look at the camera and then put it in your laptop. That's my technique before. I write it down. Okay, remember to look at the camera. Get a scotch stick and then stick it near the camera. Okay, I did that before because my problem is my eye contact. Okay, any question? Last question probably. Yes, Rhoda.
Thank you very much, Bon, for the sharing session. I just have an opinion or a question, actually. Sometimes when we evaluate a speaker, their way of speaking, their accent is so frustrating that you can't even understand. I did evaluate one person that I said, I can hardly sort of understand you. Your diction is bad. And I suggest that please try to improve your diction. I don't think it went down very well, the judges or the other people, you know, but I have done this before. Sometimes when I say mind the time and all that, they don't like it, you know, but it's not, your duty is just to evaluate his speech, not talk about whether he's late or his diction or his pronunciation and all that, you know. Okay, what do you think about that, Bon?
That is in our tip number 2, focus on the content and delivery in the body of your evaluation. That is tip number 2. You need to focus. You don't need to mention your dress is not really appropriate for in the contest, or just like you said, your diction, your grammar. You have only to focus on the content and the delivery. You are not actually evaluating the physical or the external part of the person, but rather his delivery and his message. So you're right. Never, never give an evaluation on the diction or something like that. Okay. That's tip number 2. Focus on the content and delivery only. Okay, I think we don't have much that time, and I'm also excited to listen to my fellow DTM for his next session. Thank you, everyone. I hope I provided value in learning. Feel free to reach me out in my messenger, and I'm going to answer any question. I will also help you prepare for the contest if you need me. Thank you. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Vaughn, for sharing important aspects which we have to take care while doing a speech evaluation, especially during a speech contest. As once you win there, it is going to create history for you. And you can lose with just minor mistakes too. So it is very important to understand every small aspects. And thank you so much, Vaughn, for sharing all those learnings with everyone. If you have any further question, kindly reach out to him, or you can reach out to me too. I will pass your questions with him and to get answer. Great. So how you all are feeling now? Great. So it's time to move ahead, and it's a starting time for second educational session. As you all learned about doing a speech evaluation. So, when you do a lot of a speech evaluation, you understand that this speaker had to work on that content. This speaker had to work on voice modulation. This speaker had to work on opening. This speaker had to work on closing, message. A lot of things you understand. Now, after understanding all those small things from doing a speech evaluations, it's time to implement all those advices which you give to speaker to implement in your speech writing and in your speech preparation. So for enlightening us how to write an effective speech, especially for international speech contest, which is very important for every Toastmaster, as I'm very sure many of us aspire to reach to World Championship stage. I believe, yes, everyone. So for that, let me introduce the speaker. Give me a moment. He is with us. You can identify him. He's just smiling. He is really feeling very energetic. Okay. So distinguished Toastmaster Avinash Singh is the founder of Training Influence, coach, and learning and development consultant. He has been a passionate Toastmaster for the past 6 years, winning many accolades, including 2 district championships. In District 98 Humorous Speech Contest, he won in 2020, and he won Table Topic Contest in 2022, current year in District 98. And multiple times he has been a winner at division level international speech contest. So with huge round of applause, let's listen his experience about a speech preparation to participate in a speech contest. Speak to express, distinguished Toastmaster Avinash Singh. Over to you, Avinash.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raj.
Your voice is a little bit breaking, Avinash.
Now, can you hear me properly?
Yes, it is better. It's better.
I believe it's okay. Thank you. Thank you. I was looking at Raj and I was thinking, oh, his mic is switched off. What kind of sorcery this is that he is speaking? And then I saw, oh, there is a different device which he has logged into. And I for a moment, I thought he knows magic. So thank you all for joining. And see, I had done this research before coming here, right? I found out that people who wear specs seem to be more intelligent. Okay. And there was other research. The people who are bald seem to exude power. So, oh, wow, I love this. So, including Madhu and I, okay, we are examples of power and intelligence in one frame. Thank you so much. Okay. So, today we are going to learn something about speech and speech contests. And the first part, which I want to stress upon, is that there is the most important part in you becoming a speaker. What is your main focus? So I just wanted to ask you, what is your main focus? So now, see, this is, we already heard distinguished Toastmaster Vaughn, and he had the slides and, everything. I don't have slides. I'm sorry. I'll just speak to you, you speak to me, and we'll have a nice conversation. See this, nightlight, I try to have a good atmosphere so that you can enjoy. Madhu had already taken the beat, so I went to the night lights. Okay, so let's go ahead. What do you think is the most important focus when you are a speaker? Anyone? When you speak, message, to be able to make impact and convey message. Very nice. You can unmute and speak also. That will be much more interesting, right? Anyone else? What's the most important? Yes, Pradeep.
Yeah, give a call to action at the end.
Call to action. Audience engagement. Wow, nice. Call to action. Great. Anyone else? One more.
To inspire the audience with our great and unique ideas.
Inspire the audience with unique and great ideas, and draw attention to the audience interaction. Great, very nice. See, as a speaker, our main focus is the audience. Okay, we are here to, that's why the topic was speak to express and not to impress. So when you express yourself, that's where the impact comes. You are here for the audience, and the most important thing when you talk about is how do the audience get something when they listen to you. And as you focus on this particular aspect, you will eventually lead to that particular point where you start having an impact. And how we will do that? So everyone speaks about the starting point, the alpha. Although, I also can speak, but I will start with the end point. I'll start with the omega of things, right? So let's start with omega. Okay. DTM Vaughn had a good take, but I have omega. So let's go with the omega. So let's start with the first part, the O of omega. What is O? Now, O is the objective. Why are you speaking? Okay. What is the purpose? Why are you here? When you can first focus on that particular part, what is the purpose? Now, if you talk about pathways and different paths, different projects, you have a specific objective. But when you go about giving a speech in a contest, things change a little. So there are two kinds of purposes which you can focus on. The first is the general purpose, and the other is the specific purpose, right? So can anyone tell me about general purpose? Have you heard about general purpose? What are the different types of general purposes in a speech?
Informative speech.
Awesome, you know it. Thank you so much. Any more? There are 4 kinds.
Humorous and inspiring speech. Humorous speech and inspiring speech.
Okay, inspiring, humorous. Humorous. You can
And to persuade.
call it as
These are the 4
entertaining.
parts.
Yeah.
To entertain.
Yeah. So you speak to inspire, you speak to persuade, you speak to inform, or you speak to entertain, right? So that is the general purpose. When you are talking about contest, you generally focus on the inspiration or the persuasion part of it, right? And when you talk about speeches like researching and presenting, then you have the informative kind of a speech. Of course, you can turn it into persuasive, but that's a different story. So there are different purposes. So what kind of speech are you giving? So first you will need to identify that. The first part is inspire, persuade. Now, tell me, what's the difference between inspiration and persuasion? What is the main difference? Is there any difference? What exactly do you do? Is there anything in the speech which you do and your speech changes?
Persuasion means call for action. Call for action. Persuade them to do something.
Toastmaster Shakuntala. Okay, I'm leaving my seat. Toastmaster Shakuntala can give all the answers. She knows everything, and that's great. You know, I was thinking, oh my God, she knows everything. So that's great. That's great. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shakuntala. And that is exactly what it is. Okay. In persuasive speeches, there is a call to action. Okay. And in inspirational speeches, of course, you inspire them to eventually take an action. But in persuasive speeches, you need to have a call to action. And that's the main difference in persuasion and inspiration, right? So when you get the objective, then you move on to, so the general purpose is solved. Okay, you have either inspiration or persuasion. You can add in a little bit of entertainment to it. Because usually when you talk about judges in humorous speech contests, they want a message. And in international speech contests, they want humor. Okay, I don't know why, but they they try to find that. Okay, so humor engages if you can. So there are, of course, a lot of serious speeches with not much of humor, but if you can add humor, it will add to the engagement part of your speech. So objective is very important. You need to understand, and not only in speech contests, whether you're giving a presentation in your professional professional life, or you are wherever you are speaking, there needs to be an objective. If you are not speaking with an objective, then it will not serve any purpose. So general purpose is solved. What is the specific purpose? Now, when you talk about specific purpose, we need to go to the next part of it, and that is the M of omega. And many of you have already, okay. Objective, what is the focus? I didn't get you, DTM 1.
I'm just writing down your, so that for everyone.
Oh, awesome.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you so much. I thought you were asking me, and I was like, oh my God, why I started? Will I be able to answer him? He knows so much more than me. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for helping out. And yes, so when you talk about the specific purpose is the message of of your speech. And every speech needs to have a takeaway or a message in order for the audience to get impacted. If you don't have a specific purpose, or if you don't have a takeaway or a message, then it will be very difficult for the audience to stay engaged for a very long time. Yeah, because after the humor fades away, after the entertainment goes away, there needs to be something which is very concrete, which stays with the audience. And that's what is, the message of the Omega. Okay, the objective and then the message. Now, when I was, I was focusing on the different messages. Okay, so in humor, okay, of course, I was trying to find a message, and in any speech, you need to have a message. So I thought about, okay, so what am I known for? What am I known for? Okay, I'm tall, dark, handsome, according to my mother. Okay, so mothers are that way, I know. Okay, so when you talk about the society, what they say fair and handsome. Okay, you apply this cream, you will become fair and you will get confidence, right? So when you have confidence, you can do anything. So what do you do in advertisements? Okay, the only purpose for a man, okay, according to the media, is to get a girl. Only purpose, because all the advertisements you see, there will be a girl. Okay, okay, so you take a razor, or you take a spray, or you take a cream, or you take anything. And men, of course, men need to be rough and tough. Okay, so all our products will have charcoal, it might have stone, it might have whatever. Okay, but it will not have fragrance. So yeah, that is for women. Okay, so I was thinking all these things, and for what? Confidence. And then I decided, no, my message should be confidence and looks are not related. Okay, so that is something which I worked upon. Okay, so there can be a very small, short, simple message, right? I joined Toastmasters because of 2014 World Champion. Okay, when he said, I see something in you. And I was like, okay, wow, what do you see? What do you see? And then he says, but I don't know what it is. And I was like, why did you start the conversation then? So when you talk about this particular speech, it had a beautiful message. It had a message that, okay, I see something in you, that each and every one of us has something in them. Okay, but I can't tell you, maybe you'll have to find out for yourself. Beautiful message. Then 2013 World Champion, he had the message, reach out to people. Okay, sometimes we are so bogged down, and sometimes we think that we know all the answers. We fail to reach out to people, right? 2015, he had this message, power of words, how your words can affect. 2020, the result is in the try, right? And the latest champion, he is that, okay, this is me. Okay, I have to accept myself completely, right? So every speech, the world champion speeches, if you go through it, there will be a very, very nice message. In 1995, I believe it was, the power of second chances, right? Then in Lance Miller's speech, 2005, it was about validation, appreciating people. So there is a very strong message. So first find the message, then you build on the speech. So messages are important. First, find out what is the objective, why you want to speak, then go towards the message. What exactly is your message? So once you get the message, what do you do? What's the next thing that you go for? I just want to know, okay, forget all these things. How do you write a speech? How do you start? What do you think? Starting a speech, what do you do? What is your process? I just wanted to know. Anyone?
Starting with the question.
Okay,
Engage the
starting
audience.
with the question. Engage the audience in the opening. Okay. What else?
Or usage of a famous quote.
Okay. Famous quote, engaging question. Okay.
Maybe a quote, bringing it to connect with the context.
Making quote, bringing it to connect with the context. Okay.
Always think about how you are going to end your speech in the beginning itself. Drive towards that.
Close the loop, start with something and always, come back to that particular starting point. Very nice. Awesome.
Go for explain my speech.
Sorry? Explain the speech?
Explain speech. Like whatever message I want to share, then I have to explain it.
How do you do that?
Body of your
How do
speech.
you explain something? Sorry?
Body of our speech.
Example.
Or story.
Example.
Life story.
Life story, personal story. Awesome. Right. Okay. So exactly. So when you talk about, so this is what I do. I first look at the message. What is the message? And then I find my life examples, as in my stories, my personal stories. And that is what the E of Omega is, objective, then message, then example. What are the examples in your life, right? And why do we need personal examples? Okay. I just wanted to ask, why do you need personal examples? There are so many great people. I can take their example. Why personal examples? Or should we take personal examples?
It will be much more effective and it comes with more clarity.
Okay, much more effective, much more clarity. Okay, what else? Anyone
Something
else?
very real.
Something very real.
Yeah. People are interested in real things.
No one would have said that before because this is mine only.
Awesome. Okay, so when you talk about personal stories has a connect in its own, because people might not have heard it, and it makes you human, where you share your stories and people connect it to their stories, maybe something similar, because on a human level we are connected very nicely. Toastmaster Ashok, can you mute yourself, please? Because I believe that's what is, yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so thank you so much. Don't worry, I'll call you again, but for now, just mute it. Yeah, so personal stories. Now, I remember something called, as an Toastmaster Raj also reminded me that, okay, I remember this particular thing. So this is something which I always share with everyone, and I also follow it. It's called the Aristotle Rhetoric, okay? And it is used to very, very much by all the advertisers, marketing campaigns, okay? The Aristotle Rhetoric is of three things, okay? Ethos, pathos, logos, okay? Three things. Now, the first thing is ethos, okay? Now, ethos means credibility. Now, imagine, yeah, after DTM won, okay, Raj said that, oh, Avinash, he likes to speak a lot. We can't shut him down. And today he said that I want to speak today. Let me speak. So we allowed him. There is no credibility, right? And you might not be able to listen to why should I listen to the person, right? Now, this is where something is already said about me, and that creates credibility. But inside a speech, your personal stories create the credibility, the ethos part of it. So your personal stories, now personal stories, not necessarily you are the hero of the story. It might be that maybe your mother, your father, your grandmother, grandfather, your colleague, your friend, your auntie, uncle, anyone, okay, can be the hero of the story, and you can be a part of that particular story, or different incidents. Those are personal stories. So first one is the ethos. The second one is the pathos. Now, pathos is emotions. Okay. I saw, when DTM One was explaining about how to make it real, and he was explaining about eye contact and then the emotions. The emotion part of it is very important. Okay, that's what is makes us human. Now, recently, just an hour ago, I was watching this video of Roger Federer. He was he played his last match, the tennis legend, and Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer both were crying. Okay. And my wife is saying, why are you crying? What did you achieve? I was like, no. So that makes us human, because he was crying and I saw that, you know, the life flashing in front of you, you know, I achieved so much and today I have to bid goodbye to something which I love. Of course, I'll keep on playing, but not at a competitive level. That emotion stuck. Okay? So emotions are what moves us, right? So that is something, if you add to your speeches, okay, and genuine emotions, okay, that will help you. So go on that particular path of finding what kind of emotions you can add to your speeches and how you can go about it. And when you talk about stories, I'll come to stories later, but the credibility, the personal stories with emotions, the pathos, ethos, pathos, and the logos. The logos is the logic of it, the statistics, the reference point, right? If you are a politician, of course, you can win by just emotions, but you need to have some logic if you go ahead and want to impact people. So some reference, some point of reference or something which is logical will help people to connect, okay, and to help you persuade them, you know, in your speeches, inspire them. So ethos, pathos, logos, if added into your speech, okay, into every speech, it will have the best impact you can ever imagine, right? So this is something which I love doing, adding these. And storytelling is all about you know, how the hero's journey is, right? So there is maybe there is a protagonist, a person, okay, or a situation, whatever, or a group of people, okay? So when you talk about the hero's journey, it's about finding that particular journey in your life. What was first the setting? Where is the hero? You know, what he is trying to do? Okay, it's from a poor background, you know, rich background, whatever. Then the challenge. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the impact. And then the hero overcomes the challenge, and suddenly you find, oh wow, right? The wow factor. Okay. So this is something, if you can, you know, that's in most of the stories, most of the movies that you see, there is a hero's journey. Okay. And if you can have that in your stories, then you can have an impact. Give you an example. Now there is this you know, reality shows, okay, India's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, every country has got talent, right? Okay, I implore you to just see the performance, not the interview. Just see the performance. When you see the performance, you'll say, ah, okay, that's good, okay, not that great, but it was good. And then suddenly you see the interview, and that's emotional. That's, you know, tear jerker. Okay, the person who you know, came from a lot of odds and he overcame so many challenges to reach this stage, and suddenly you feel for that person. You see that, okay, he might be you know, right now he is on the journey to becoming better, but the journey which he took to reach this particular place, that's solid. That's something which is impactful. And that's where you win and you impact the audience. So that's what it is. So if you have a good story, okay, not necessarily you as a protagonist, someone, it will help. The next part is when you have the good examples, you know, you have in a 5 to 7 minute speech, you can have either you can have 2 to 3 different incidences which can create an impact, okay, or you know, give support to your particular message, or one story going through different stages, right? Maybe in a chronological order. So when you see different speeches, now if you see Dhananjay Haidrachi's speech in 2014, he spoke about his journey to, he was incarcerated, he was in jail, his mother spoke to him, then he went, you know, his father tried to get him a job, Then he went ahead and he's talking about his professional life, right? So there are different points where he takes us through this particular journey, right? So there are in Lance Miller's speech, I love that particular speech. If you get the chance, the first speech you see is Lance Miller's, the ultimate question. That is the name of the speech, and it is quite interesting because it's about validation, appreciating, just saying that, oh wow, that we Toastmasters do that a lot, right? Okay, so appreciating. So he also spoke about how he was, okay, and then one incident that changed his life, and then how he is now. So if you can show this transition, then you can have an impact. So from examples, you move to the G part of it. You start with objective, you go to the message, then you think about examples, 2 or 3, or maybe 2 or 3 incidences. Then you come to the G part, that is grouping. And that's what I believe many of you said, that is opening, body, conclusion. Okay. How should be the opening? What should be the body? How do you conclude, right? So that is something if you can work on, right? Opening needs to be, focused on having the great engagement. Now, one of the best openings in World Championship history, I can remember, is 2015 Mohammad Khatami. I don't know if you have seen the speech. He takes a cigarette, he puts it in his mouth, okay, and he's about to light it. And he looks up and says, "What?" And believe me, at that point of time, you can't stop laughing because he is into it, right? He has engaged, and then he blurs out a lot of statistics, okay, how people who are smoking die and all those things, and then he says, "I just made this up just for fun." Okay, the engagement is already there, and then he moves to his message of the power of words, how you can use your words for power. So engagement, right? So even if you go to 2001, Darren LaCroix, it's like, ouch, he goes, walks a few steps and he stumbles and he falls down. He falls down, he's there almost, on his belly, and then he keeps speaking. And that's another way of, he was so engaging. So engagement can not only come through anecdotes, from statistics, from questions, from quotes, but it can also come from certain ways you go ahead. Now, Lance Miller started with just a question. What is the ultimate question? Do you validate? And in America, validation is, where you have the parking tickets, you go to the specific place and they validate it. But he took that particular thing and he connected it to the actual validation which we do, that is appreciating human beings, connection there. So opening, and like Toastmaster Pitambran said that, connect it to the, how do you loop it to the end? You start something and you can loop it at the end also. So that is something which you can do. Opening, body needs to focus on how can you give good examples to support your message. And finally, the conclusion. Conclusion is somewhere you focus on the point, as in, this is the summary. This is what I wanted to share with you. And maybe a good particular line which can, people can remember. The recent winner, Cyril Junior Dim, I believe, right? So Cyril Junior Dim, he talked about his middle name, and it was the suspense throughout his speech, and he gave away the suspense at the last, in the conclusion part, right? So he engaged us, and that was a very good conclusion. So when you look at speeches, when you look at this whole thing, you will understand, the grouping, the opening, body, conclusion, and how exactly you focus on those particular things. And finally, the A of Omega is the alignment. Okay? How do you transition from one part to the other? Now, when you talk about the opening and looping it to the end, Dhananjay Etrachi did it best. He started with a rose, He started plucking the rose. You can, you can get hurt in your life, and and totally broke down. He puts it in the garbage can, and at the end he again picks up a good rose, okay, which is already in the can, and it's like, okay, if you reach out to people, or if the people around you can make you whole again. So again he looped it back. So this is something which you can do, how you can loop it back. And alignment from one part to the other, from opening to body to the different phases in your speech. How do you go, how do you transition? Okay, the transition is very important so that it looks smooth. You can use a catchphrase like Dhananjay Yatrachi used, like I see something in you. Or you can go from one phase to another. You can have a good outline. Either it can be a chronological outline. You go from your childhood to your adult phase, and then current phase. You can go from the current phase to the past and then back to current. That also you can do. You can have a problem solution kind of a message, right? So these are the ways you can actually align the whole speech, right? So when you go ahead and you focus on the omega, the objective, the message, the examples, in examples, if you can have personal stories, looking at the Aristotle Rhetoric, that is ethos, pathos, logos, and finally you come to the grouping, opening, body, conclusion, and align it with the transitions, you will have a fabulous draft. And then all you need to work on is your expressions, your body language, how you go from one part to the other, right? The main is the content. Content is the king. If you can create good drafts and get feedback for those drafts and keep on reiterating and practicing, I believe you will have a good speech in your hands, and you will be ready to compete, right? So this is something which I wanted to share through my experience. I have already taken 32 minutes. I believe I have some time for question and answers. And if you have any questions, do shoot right away, and I'll share whatever I know.
Let me be the first one, Avinash.
Yes, Rhoda, come on.
I'm talking through experience, okay?
Sure.
I did a speech about 5 years ago, just 19 days after the death of someone dear to me. I wrote it nicely and all that, but as usual, we write, we practice, we deliver totally different. What I'm trying to tell here is the emotional state that you are in at that moment is different. So when I delivered that speech, it was so full of emotion, and it just went smoothly. Even my evaluator said that if I had spoken just 2 more minutes, she would have cried. She said that. It was so emotional. What I'm trying to say is that 3 years later, I tried to read the same speech, but the emotions is not bad. I have recovered. So I could not deliver the same speech ever again. So I believe that the emotional part of it, whether you're telling a personal story or relating a story, somebody's story, is very important. The state of mind you were then, I get that, because I can never go back to writing or reading that speech again or whatever it is. Never, never. Because I knew that. So it's just a sharing session.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that particular example. Now, there are a few things when you talk about emotions, right? So whether the emotions are helping you to deliver a great speech, or are they becoming a hindrance, right? When you become very emotional, okay, so I can become very emotional if I remember my mother, okay, and when she was there. So if I choke in my speech, then there is a problem. So I need to understand that, can I just help people with a little bit of emotion where they can relate to their own, but not a tearjerker maybe, right? So my intention is not to make people cry. My intention is for them to get inspired by whatever I'm trying to say, and maybe in the way I can make them feel something, maybe a little bit, not a lot. So your stories inspire, you felt that because at that point of time you were in the state of mind, it changed, right? But still, okay, there might be people who will listen to you. Okay, you might not feel the same. You might not be in that particular state of mind, but someone else will be, might be. Okay, so keep on telling your stories in such a way that it does not become a hindrance, but it actually helps people to relate to you at a human level. And that's the beauty of being human. So thank you so much for sharing this particular example. And I believe that, keep on sharing those stories, and let your emotions flow just enough so that it reaches the other person, just enough. Thank you so much.
May I ask one question?
Yes.
DTM Avinash, it was awesome to listen to you. It was awesome to listen to you. I have one question. Sometimes we observe that some people have a practice of our tendency of speaking very fast, and even they don't use pauses, which I feel pauses are also very important. So how important is a speed of speaking and the pauses in between? Can you please elaborate a bit on that? That will be more helpful. Then we can make our speech more effective.
Definitely. See, when you talk about the rate of speech and pauses, now it depends on which country you're speaking. Yeah, thank you so much, Toastmaster. When you talk about, so different people comprehend in a different rate of speed. So, in India, we speak 100 to 120 words or 130 words per minute, and the comprehension is much faster. In America, it's much even faster. So if you go to different parts of the country, the comprehension actually differs. And the language, the comprehension of the language, the diction, how quickly we can understand. So first of all, you need to understand who your audience is, okay? But it is better to be a little bit slower rather than faster, because if you want to have an impact, then the pauses are required, right? If you're talking about something exciting, then you can go fast. I am so excited, because in that emotion, you raise your volume, you are very excited, the volume goes up, the speed goes up. But when you're sad, and then you suddenly think that you feel that melancholy inside, and you want to speak, but the words are not coming out. Right? So this is this emotion, the sadness. It needs a little bit more time. When you are sad, you are not fast, you are slow. You think about the words, you fumble maybe, right? So this is the emotion. So when you're talking about emotion, speaking fast will not help a particular emotion, but it will help a different emotion. So what do you want to do? That depends. The audience who can comprehend. Believe me, when I started listening to audiobooks, okay, I could comprehend, at normal speed. Then I did, 1x time. I did 2x times, 1.5 and then 2x, and I could comprehend, right? Because the human capacity is 800 words per minute of comprehension. Okay, we can actually make out 800 that speed. Okay, so that is not the problem. The comprehension is not the problem. The emotions, the how you how your speech will impact. So hence, wherever you have an important point, you need to pause. Okay, where you are trying to have an emotion which has a lot of exhilaration, like excitement or happiness or jubilance, whatever it is, then you are faster in comparison and louder. When you are sad, then you are slower, you are lower. Right? So this is the difference. You will have to understand. Okay, 39 minutes up. One last question, if anyone has, and then I can stop. Or I can stop just now. It's up to you.
Yes, one last question. Ashok is raising his hand again. No one?
How to find good messages?
How to find good messages? Very nice question. whatever is closer to you, whatever you feel strongly about, right? Now, I'll give you an example. Now, I am a coach, a learning and development professional. So skill building is something which I work on. Habits is something I work on. How to be better, how to improve your potential as a person, personality development. So something related to that is, building confidence. And that's why my messages are related to that. But if you are someone who is maybe in, a different state or a different profession, you can work on that. So a good example is the first runner-up, Marianne, I believe, oh, sorry, Linda Mary Miller, right? So she is a crusader. So she works a lot on, the racism part of it, or, different ways where you can actually bring certain very strong points, right? So her messages are related to that. Okay. So what do you believe in? What do you want to share? Maybe there is something in life which you have learned which you want to share. So the messages will be related to what messages you have learned, what learnings you have in your life, or what you want to share. So you will have to find out what you strongly feel about, and then you will be able to find those messages in your life.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure. I'm just Avinash. Don't call me sir. Yeah. Santosh, you are very late. After I finish my session, then you come. Yeah, not very. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll give it back to Toastmaster Raj, and thank you for having me. I hope you learned something, and I hope I did justice to the session. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Raj.
Thank you so much, Avinash. And I can say that anyone have any question, final chance to ask with Avinash and Vaughn. Both of them are here with you. You can take a moment. You can realize how you are going to prepare and write your speeches, how you are going to do evaluation during contest. Feel those moments, realize something, and you may ask. Okay, great. So thank you so much, Avinash, and thank you so much, Vaughn, for sharing your experience, your knowledge, your expertise, how we can help, how we can improve better, how we can write good speeches, and how we can do good evaluation during contest and during even regular meeting of Toastmasters. Thank you so much to both of you on behalf of every club members and everyone who is here with us today in this meeting. I will request now Toastmaster Ravinder to share her screen for felicitating to both of the speaker. Thank you, Ravinder. So first of all, I would like to thank distinguished Toastmaster Vaughn Eric Tandoc for sharing your wisdom regarding a speech evaluation. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Vaughn, for everything which you are doing for the club members and for Toastmasters fraternity. Vaughn, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Avinash, for sharing your knowledge, your experience, your journey, your all moments with every one of us, so that we all can be better in a speech writing, in a speech preparation, and a speech delivery in our Toastmaster journey. Thank you so much, Avinash, for everything which you are doing for Toastmasters fraternity. Thank you so much, Avinash. With this, officially, I conclude this meeting. And if you have any chit chat, casual chit chat, anything wish to ask, feel free to do. We can open this meeting for 5 more minutes. Thank you. Yes, Pithamran has something to ask.
Yes, thank you, Raj. And I am not on camera because of some of my weak bandwidth. So thanks DTM Avinash and DTM Vaughn for presenting. Now this request goes to our club members. You got an extra dose today. So whoever waiting for this moment to hear what actually it is and waiting for enrolling yourself for the contest, please put yourself forward in the list of contestants, add your name there, and as well intimate me so that I can take care of the rest of the proceedings. That's it. Thank you very much, DTM Vaughan and DTM Avinash.
Thank you so much, Pithambaran, for pointing out that definitely members would be enrolling for this year. Thank you. Any one of you would like to share any experience, how it was for you? Maybe Rodha, Esther, anyone? Yeah,
I think
Rodha,
I
yeah.
just said my piece earlier. It's been a wonderful session, actually. Thank you both, Vaughn and Avinash. It's an insightful learning, actually. Even though we have finished our evaluation and humorous speech contest, but it is very, very useful because we hear different presenters. They tell different how they take a different context of writing speech and all that, you know. So, but I believe I have some take-home message here which I can use actually. Thank you both, and thank you, Raj. It's been a pleasure here. I am almost closing my eyes now. It's too late. I have to say good night. Thank you very much. I hope to see you again, to visit you again. Good night, everybody.
Sure, Rodha.
Good
Definitely.
night.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Raj,
Yes,
I am.
Yeah, Esther, yes.
Thank you so much for including me in this session today. It has been a very busy day since morning, since I woke up till now. This moment, I had been occupied one after another, and I have to do some work even after this. But I really feel it's worth it, you know, worth my time sitting before my computer here, online, talking to everybody, listening to the speakers today. The speakers are simply awesome. Very interesting and very insightful, as I mentioned earlier. So looking forward to your next meeting. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you so much, Esther. Thank you so much. Yeah, so you wish to say something? Okay, great. Santosh, I think he dropped. Okay, he dropped. Okay, anyone who wish to share anything? Rishikesh, would you like to share your experience? Edith? Pradeep, Madhu?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Edith. Yes, how are you?
Hi. I'm good. My bandwidth is so weak. It keeps dropping. So, but I will just share a little bit. I thoroughly enjoyed the 2 sessions and I've learned quite a bit from, I was just taking notes. So I have pages and pages of things to share with my club on the 2 topics that were discussed. And yes, I look forward to learning more from the club and all the guests that you bring to your meetings. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Edith. Thank you. Yes, Pradeep. Yes, how was your experience?
Thank you. Yes. Today, this morning, we had a great session with our mentor, Pithambaran. And I understand this evening, Vaughn and Avinash both gave us an icing on the cake. So it was fantastic. I mean, I've absorbed each and everything, whatever each word which they mentioned. And Avinash, I appreciate at every instance, maybe at every 2 or 3 minutes, you're using the examples of the world champion of public speaking. So it clearly says your way of thinking, as you are always focused on these great personalities, right? If you are, it's being said, if you are hang around the barber shop, one day you'll get a haircut. So I'm definitely very sure one day you will be on that stage. And thanks for downloading us, giving us your highest teachings. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pradeep. Thank you. Madhu, anything you wish to share?
Yeah, as I think others conveyed it, it is quite like we are quite fortunate to get that experience, especially from Vaughn and Avinash. The experience means a lot. So it's intense learning. I think we need to put in more effort in that direction. And it is wonderful to have people like Van, Avinash, and Pitambaran, and they are very keen on mentoring and giving us such a good information. It is really good. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Madhu. Thank you so much. Yes, Imran.
I would like to thank our both speakers because they provide lots of insights, and I got two acronyms. First one is for evaluation contest, which is STEP, and second one is for speech contest, which is Omega. So we got everything. So it's our time to incorporate these tips in our field. So hope I can give my best by using these tips. So thank you, both of you.
Thank you, Imran. That's great. Siva, anything you wish to share?
Yes, first of all, I personally thank to Vaughn and Avinash. It was really good. And see, I'm the beginner actually. I joined last month, this Toastmaster. But this session is very informative to me. Like how the Toastmaster, the evaluator, how evaluate, so that how I can speak and I can look at that point. And thanks to Avinash, that your point and that your example, like kind of amazing. Thanks to you both.
Thank you, Siva. Thank you. I think Ravinder is left to speak. Is Vaughn, you can share anything finally, anything Vaughn you wish to share? Yeah, Ravinder. Yeah, let's listen to Ravinder.
Well, my final message is, when you go in the contest, don't aim for winning. Yes, you want to win. What is the most important here is your message from the heart. That's all.
Yes, thank you, Vaughn. Yes, Ravinder, anything which you wish to share?
Thank you, Raj. First of all, all credit goes to you for inviting DTM Vaughn and DTM Avinash. Today I got to know how they became DTM. We learned a lot from the DTM. Actually, they compile all their thoughts in these 20 to 25 minutes, and we got a lot of insights. So I think I need more energy and time to digest these insights. Hats off to you as well as to DTM Vaughn and DTM Avinash. Thank you so much.
Definitely, Ravinder. Definitely. So thank you, everyone. Then I start preparing for the contest.
Toastmaster Ashok ji raised his hand.
Prepare for
Yeah,
contest.
yeah. You're on mute, Ashok.
Definitely, it's been a wonderful treat. It's been a wonderful Saturday treat to hear and listen from DTM Vaughan and DTM Avinash. As DTM Pitambaran said, it's a booster dose to all of us, all the contestants. It's not only the booster dose; it has come with it contained a lot of vitamins and proteins also. That will help us in generating more healthier speeches and evaluation in the coming contests. So thank you, DTM Vaughan and DTM Avinash, and all the best to all the contestants. Thank you very much.
Great, awesome. Thank you. Great, then. Thank you so much. And let's start preparing and see you next Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care. Okay, all the best next content. Bye-bye.